costs $72 to subscribe to The Athletic, but if you subscribe to the Browns Report, it's $0, and we're going to give you all the content in the articles, the trade news, the trade rumors involving the Cleveland Browns. You will not want to miss this one, folks. Welcome in the Browns Report. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue, and The Athletic gave us tons of insight on the Cleveland Browns' plan before the trade deadline. What are they thinking? Where's Andrew Berry's head at? Are they buyers? Are they sellers? Moves are coming for the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to give you guys what they told us, also what ESPN said are the most likely moves for the Browns. So first off, The Athletic had in big letters that the Cleveland Browns are listed as sellers. Are they done buying? Are they just giving players away before that November 4th deadline? Here's exactly what they said. This is not to insinuate that a full fire sale is coming or that the Browns will aggressively try to shop their best players. No, but it's been long been clear that the focus in Cleveland is on the future. And with so many players in the final year of their current contracts, the Browns will listen when the phones ring. Now, I would tell you that the Cleveland Browns could do both buying and selling before the NFL trade deadline. That's been evidenced by a lot of their moves. We've seen it from Cleveland many times before, and they're in that weird position where they have such a good class of rookies, lots of young talent for the future, a really good defense where you think if they had a good offense, they would be competing right now. But I do think at this point, selling is probably more likely for the Cleveland Browns, just where they are record-wise and with all the expiring contracts on that roster. And so, yes, I think buying is in the question. Let's look at all the moves that they have made so far. They traded for Cam Robinson, right? That was a move where you're a buyer. Then they traded away Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals. And then they did both. They swapped corners with the Jaguars. We brought in Tyson Campbell, who, by the way, has looked great for the Cleveland Browns. At least on Sunday against the Dolphins, he didn't allow a reception in zone coverage. It was incredible. Tyson Campbell, number 7, playing for Cleveland now. And so I do think that Cleveland will be making more moves by the time the deadline hits. And I think there absolutely is a possibility that they go out and acquire someone like they did earlier. However, selling seems to be the most likely thing. And who would they sell? The Athletic says most likely to go are defensive end Alex Wright, tight end David Njoku, and running back Jerome Ford for pennies. But the Browns also would likely at least entertain potential trades involving their veteran interior offensive linemen. Teams looking for pass rush help should check on Wright, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, and Cameron Thomas. Lots to unpack here, folks. David Njoku being listed as a trade candidate again from another source. And we have talked about Njoku a lot on this show. He's on a contract year. He's coming off a big $55 million extension. It would probably be pricey to keep him in Cleveland. He's also injured right now, but he is expected to return to practice on Wednesday. Fancy says he's truly day-to-day. We'll keep you updated on Njoku's status. What really shocked me is Alex Wright. This is the first time I'm hearing his name in any trade talks, as listed by The Athletic. And Alex Wright is having a great season for the Cleveland Browns so far, folks. In 7 games played, he's balling out. You see his PFF grade at the bottom there, 85.6 overall. He's got 2 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, 18 total tackles. I mean, it's been very good. 6 pressures as well. He has come alive, and he's a starter on the Browns' defensive line. So I don't really agree with this from The Athletic. I don't think Alex Wright is actually up for grabs. I think we have so much depth on that line, and I'd be more likely to buy into the idea that Cameron Thomas gets moved, or Tryon-Shoyinka, or Shelby Harris, which is what Adam Schefter told us earlier. So it's very deep. There's a lot of stars on it, and I don't think a starter would be one that we would be giving up like Alex Wright, who's really come alive and emerged so far for the Cleveland Browns. I'd also love to keep Isaiah McGuire if we could. And Wright has started to get even more snaps than McGuire has. Aiden Huntington as well, very versatile player that we like to use even on offense, but mostly on defense as well. So I think our depth at the defensive line position is very intriguing for a lot of teams. A lot of teams that are looking to bolster up an area that Cleveland Browns have down pat. I imagine the phones will be ringing for our D-line, and I would only be okay with it if you give us something for it. Some draft pick compensation, maybe for a player that's on a contract year. Sure. but I wouldn't want to trade a starter like Alex Wright. Let's keep our big boys up there. Jerome Ford's name has really been heating up among a lot of different sources, saying that he is a very likely candidate to be traded, maybe the most likely on the Cleveland Browns roster at the moment, to be dealt before that deadline. And obviously, we've got our running back in Cleveland for years to come, it feels like. We're super hyped up about it. But not only did The Athletic mention Jerome Ford, but also ESPN's Jeremy Fowler put out an article today listing Jerome Ford as one of the top 25 players that are most likely to be traded in the NFL before the deadline. Here's what Fowler said about it. The youth movement is ongoing in Cleveland, where Quinshon Judkins is featured in the backfield. The Browns are open to dealing Ford, who has 1,463 career rushing yards and 12 scrimmage touchdowns. So Fowler's telling us the Browns are, quote, open to dealing Ford. He gave some more insight on it and said the chances that Ford gets traded are 35% by ESPN's estimation. Some fits for Ford would be the Chargers, the Patriots, or the Texans. Finally, he fits best as a rotational back for one of those teams, so not necessarily an absolute starter. Kind of similar to how Cleveland uses him, although they've started using him less this season than they did last year. And so he could be a piece that a team buys for cheap, as The Athletic said, for pennies. I think you'd be looking at more of like a 6th or 7th round pick. You know, it would be a pretty cheap sell, maybe even a late round pick swap. But I think that's pretty good if you can get any draft pick for Jerome Ford right now. And we can use Dylan Sampson a little bit more than we have been. And Judkins is just going to have to be that workhorse. That's what he is. That's what it should be. I would love to get another running back to help Judkins, complement him, maybe help some blocking so Judkins doesn't have to do all that as well. Probably our best blocking back. But that's the case. That's what Nick Chubb was. That's what Judkins will likely be, is a workhorse running back. And I think if you get a draft pick for Ford, who's on a contract year, by the way, that's an absolute W for the Cleveland Browns. Let me know, Browns fans, you agree with me. Should the Browns trade Jerome Ford this season? Type Y for yes if you think we should do that deal before November 4th. Type N for no if you want to keep Jerome Ford in Cleveland. They use him in the return game as well, but I do think he is expendable considering the rookies that we've got in the running back room. Coming up on today's show, more Browns trade notes from The Athletic, folks. That's right. They're not done telling us Cleveland Browns specific trade news, including a nugget about Myles Garrett. You will not want to miss what a price for Garrett might look like. But first, I got to tell you guys about this awesome deal here. Do you want a Cleveland Browns polo? It's fresh, it's fire, it's Tommy Hilfiger, looking fancy, and it's cheaper than you might think. It's over 50% off at chatsports.com/CLE polo. It was $70 to get this classic Browns polo. It is now only $32. I'm going to have to go and get one myself. I think it's clean, sleek looking. That is chatsports.com/CLE polo. I will put that link in the description. I will put it in the comment section so you can find it and click on it easily. chatsports.com/CLE polo. Go get that. Rep the Cleveland Browns, looking fancy, looking suave. I think I'm going to get myself one of those. Like I said, it's over 50% off. Capitalize while we got that deal for you at chatsports.com/CLE polo. The Athletic said, Myles Garrett remains close to untouchable, thank God, unless a team offers 3 first-round picks at least. And that's just probably not going to happen, right? Who's going to give up 3 firsts for Myles? My first reaction, you may have heard it, just thank goodness, man. I mean, we can't afford to lose Myles Garrett. That defense is playing at an elite level right now. He's more than a generational talent. We're so lucky to have him in Cleveland. We just had to pay him the big bucks to get him to stay. But he stayed. And he's a difference maker. Now, I also think that coming off this big win helps, right? Because last week there started to be a little bit more speculation of, is Myles going to ask out again? Because he was pissed off. He was vocal about his frustration. He was like, I'm tired of losing this way. He said, it's frustrating as hell. Those are his words. Coming off a dominant 31-6 victory, I think this helps ease the Myles Garrett trade heat, the trade talks, that he'll ask out again. As long as we win some games, we'll be fine. And if we could just put together a quarterback and an offensive roster, we'd be in playoff games. I'm not kidding you. So I think that energy helps a little bit. The Athletic also said, much to Mike Tomlin's chagrin, the Browns might not even be done selling within the AFC North. Are you kidding me? Ian Rappaport said the Ravens have been calling around the league looking for defensive help, and I showed you guys how much depth Cleveland has on that defensive line. there's a possibility, according to The Athletic, that the Browns deal within the AFC North again. And I say, no more division trades, all right? You got your Flacco. Enjoy it. We're done trading with the rivals, okay? Because Flacco went out there and balled out and won the Bengals a football game on Thursday night. We're not helping out the Ravens. I like that the Ravens are playing terrible. I like that they're a dumpster fire, and I want to watch it continue to burn in Baltimore. They're dead last in the AFC North. We're ahead of them. The Cleveland Browns have jumped the Ravens in the standings. I think that's awesome. Keep it that way. Enjoy your turmoil. Have fun with your injuries. And let the Cleveland Browns have more wins than the Ravens. This is the standings right now. And you can see we've got more wins than that dang team. And we're only 2 games back of first place in the AFC North. I think we should just get it together because this is a year where you can actually compete in the AFC North. So figure this stuff out on offense, Browns, because we're not out of it. And I don't think the Bengals are going to be making much noise with Joe Flacco for the weeks to come. So, pretty funny. The Ravens suck. Like the video if you're happy that the Ravens are in dead last. Lol. Laughing out loud about it. It's great. It's great. We never get to see it. It's awesome. I mean, people were picking that team to win the Super Bowl this year, the Baltimore Ravens, and they're dead last in the division. It's funny. So I don't want to help them out anymore. I don't want to give them anybody in the division. Folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Browns Report. Like I said, we will cover you for free with trade news, trade rumors about your favorite team, the Cleveland Browns. And all it takes is hitting that red sub button so you can be the first to know and be the most educated, the smartest Browns fan in the room. Thank you so much for sticking with me here on the Browns Report. I appreciate all of you that tune in. We'll see you very shortly here on the show.